Live from Chicago, it's the Gift of Gab Show. Here's your host, Gabby Smith.
I never meant to call you when you sorrow. I never meant to call you when you pain.
Welcome to the Gift of Gab Show. Well, it was the news heard around the world on Thursday, April 21st. Prince was found dead in his home. Wow. You know, even just saying it just simply hurts. I have a really true diehard fan on the phone. Samantha Jones, are you out there?
Yes, I'm here.
So, Samantha, where were you when you heard the news?
Well, actually, I was at home. I work from home as a consultant, so I was sitting on my couch, and I had my computer on my lap, and then my phone rang, and I'm like, okay, who is this? And it was one of my girlfriends reached out to me and said, Prince died. And when I saw her, give me that call, I was like, really? I just couldn't believe it. So I, of course, then went straight to the internet and had to do my own research because I just couldn't believe that something like that would happen, because I heard recent reports that he was back in doing concerts and all of this. So it was just really, really shocking to me. And so after I looked on the internet, it was like within moments, CNN started to report it and across the news network. So I was just in shock. I just couldn't believe that this great musician, this great performer, an artist that truly, truly impacted my life was now gone. So shock is probably the word, and I'm still in shock, truly.
Well, at first, all the media was saying was a body was found. There was a death at Paisley Park. So I, in my head, thought, okay, maybe it was a housekeeper, or maybe it was, one of the staff members. I honestly, I could not, in my wildest dreams, think Prince would die. What? Like, he was just doing a concert in Atlanta. I understand that he, did a layover in Moline, Illinois, because he had the flu. I don't know how true that is or not. But, as a fan, you just don't imagine him not being here. The whole thing has just been so shocking, and I've been glued to the TV because it hasn't sunk in, to your point. I mean, it's tough. I mean, this is tough. I think this is tougher than Michael Jackson. What do you think?
Right. For me personally, this definitely is, I still can't even get the words out. I'm just still in so much shock over it. But yes, I think that this impacted me personally more than Michael Jackson, just because Prince for me was everything music, and I really, really can think back to so many childhood memories where the Prince song was playing in the background, or me and my neighborhood friends are dressing up and trying to be Prince in the Revolution. I mean, it's just so many things I think about with Prince that, just hearing about his death, it was just hard. And to your earlier point about, when it first came out, it was, an unidentified body from his house. But when I saw that, and of course I was in shock, I still kind of felt the pain that something was wrong. Just as private as Prince was, to hear that someone was leaving his house and then him not being involved in it, it just seemed as though that it was really his body. So I kind of took solace in knowing that that was probably what happened. So, I mean, yeah, I'm sitting here, and even doing this interview is surreal to me. Truly, it really is, because as I think back, like the first time I'm hearing Purple Rain being played, I was, a very young girl, and, Purple Rain, the movie was coming out, and I was excited just to see, this miraculous movie. And, of course, I probably was not supposed to be watching that movie.
Right.
You think back when I was a young girl, but I was amazed. I was amazed at the performance in the movie. I loved all of the music, and I loved his band members. Like, there was two artists that were in his band, Wendy and Lisa. So I, of course, wanted to be Wendy. So, you just think back and like, wow, this man just really revolutionized and changed music. And he changed it within my time period. So it's just, as I'm still sitting here just really just in shock because I can't believe that this musical icon is gone.
It's just shocking. It's been a few days, and I don't know when it's ever going to sink in. I really don't.
Yeah.
What are your top 3 favorite songs?
So my top 3 songs, the first one would be Adore.
Oh,
And that song came out roughly in about 1987. And I heard that song, and it just resonated with me. I just loved that song. In fact, when I found out, that Prince had passed, everyone was posting on social media, like, their favorite songs or what Prince meant to them, and I actually posted the lyrics to Adore. That just was one of my favorite songs that he ever did, and, I still am just sitting here like, I can't believe that I'm not going to hear him sing that live. I was at one of his concerts. He came to Chicago in 2004 on a musicology tour, and I was privileged to be able to see him live. And just being able to just hear, all of his songs, but especially Adore in that concert, I was on my feet the entire time, and I just have that moment just sketched in my memory of, being able to witness him on stage and singing one of my favorite songs.
Oh my gosh, let's take a moment. You hear it in the background?
Yes,
girl. This is what I'm talking about. This is classic.
Classic.
It's interesting, Samantha, because he was able to connect with millions of people, and not just millions of African Americans. I mean, he was able to connect with millions of people of different races, different cultures, age groups. Why was that? Why was he able to just resonate? I mean, people are really taking this hard. If you think about it, it's not just, the United States that's suffering. You've got people all over the world. I mean, the Eiffel Tower is purple. I mean, he had the color purple, and everyone knew it. And everything turned purple on Thursday after the passing. Why was he able to connect with so many people?
Because I think everyone could relate to the realness of his music. And because he was a musical genius, basically, playing over 20 different instruments, I think he could change with the times, right? So one of the conversations that my husband and I had was, when we found out that Prince passed, we mourned him differently. So I'm in one room and I have, my headphones on and I'm listening to Adore and I'm listening to Kiss and other songs that really impacted my personal journey with Prince. And then my husband was in the other room and he had his headphones on and he's doing the same thing. So, his music just touched and reached generations of different people and across cultures. I heard one interview that Prince did when he was just talking about, living in Minneapolis and growing up there. Of course, there was a span of different races there, majority really being white, and they just connected with his music just like, a child growing up in suburbia in Chicago did. So it really, his music just touched so many different people because it was real music. He was a real artist. His message and his songs, spoke to us in so many different ways, whether it's just that fun, snapping song, that we're listening to, like a Kiss, or whether it's a hardcore rock song like Seven. That was one of the songs that he did on one of his albums. Or whether even it's like this one, Adore. There are probably millions of Prince babies that were created off of that one song.
You are so right about that.
So he knew how to capture your heart. He knew how to capture the moment that you're in. And everyone, like I said, everyone has their own personal journey and history with Prince, right? We all kind of have our own story.
Do you think he can be replaced? Oh, wait. Let's take a moment. When you said Kiss, we had to switch it up. Yes. Now, this song, as we're talking about this, Kiss was, of course, one of my favorite songs. And the reason was my dad and I used to have a lot of dance parties in our house. So my dad really introduced me to music as a whole. It wasn't just one genre of music. Our house, you could hear anything being played. So I remember one Saturday morning just hanging out in my house and
Kiss came on, and me and my dad just started dancing. And I mean, to this day, if Kiss comes on, we have a whole little shuffle dance that we do to this song. So this song has so much memories for me personally because it reminds me of a great childhood memory dancing with my father.
Oh,
So,
that is priceless. That is truly
Yes.
priceless. So, do you think he can be replaced? I mean, honestly, or was he just that much of an icon that it was just one and only?
Yeah, I don't think you can replace icons, right? You can't. There's never going to be another Michael Jackson. There's never going to be another Whitney Houston. But with great, artists just as Prince, these icons, they inspire so many different artists. One great thing to think about with Prince is that there's so many other artists today that can say, you know what, it was Prince that made me want to sing, So Justin Timberlake, he did a fabulous tribute to Prince, and he just talked about that. Every song that he sings, Prince is interwoven in those lyrics or some form or fashion. He's inspired by Prince. So you can't say that he'll ever be replaced, but he's inspired so many that we'll see from generations to come people being influenced by this type of music.
So, music was Prince. Prince was music, right? I mean, music was truly his passion, his life, his world. So what can the world learn about his life and the way that he lived?
Yeah, so I think from us being fans, one of the number one things we're going to think about are his songs and how his songs truly impacted our lives. But he was so much more than just music. A CNN reporter by the name of Van Jones really broke it down nicely about just the way that Prince lived the life of social justice and, how he was really wanting, all of us from all colors and all generations across the world just to be together and, really into the movement for Black empowerment and education. He has quotes. If you look up on the internet, you can see many quotes that Prince talked about. Don't allow your children to watch TV until they're able to read. Really enforcing the necessity of education and reading and learning for yourself. So Prince, yes, he was a iconic musician. He was a great singer and dancer. He had his movies that he acted in, and all those things are wonderful. But if you peel back the layers of this onion and the artist of Prince, you'll see that he also was for social justice. He also was a big part in, in putting monies into, empowering communities that needed it. So we can't just say that he was just a great music legend. We have to say that he was just a great overall person in all aspects.
Well, you are so right. I mean, he was obviously a musical genius, simply put. I mean, there may or may not be another Prince, but thank goodness we have his timeless music. I mean, he has so many countless classics that I don't think anyone can ever emulate, to your point. And, Prince, the world will continue to mourn your sudden death, but we do thank you for your classic hits, your generous humanitarian efforts. And as my guest Samantha pointed out, you've done so much for the world that none of us will ever probably know. But we thank you. We just thank you for staying true to yourself, your music, and the world as a whole, no matter what. Rest in peace, Prince Rogers Nelson.